In a little house at the top of Muswell Hill in London lives a little kitten called Miles. Can you see him? Miles loved to lay on his back in his new garden by the flower pots, enjoying the nice warm sun on his tummy.
"Hello, lazybones,"
came a voice from behind the fence. It was just his neighbour, old Bernie Bulldog.
"What on earth are you doing, staying in on such a lovely day like this?"
asked Bernie. In? I'm not in. I'm out, said Miles.
"Oh, you're not out, my little friend. Follow me,"
replied Bernie, as he walked down to the bottom of their gardens. Gee whiskers! shouted Miles.
"Why don't you go and stretch your legs?"
said Bernie. So Miles hopped over the fence and set off on an adventure. Whilst walking around his neighbourhood, Miles was surprised by all the different houses people live in. There were Tudor houses, Georgian houses, and Victorian houses, amongst many others. Do you know what type of home you live in? Then Miles spotted one that looked very different indeed. A big red house, and it's rolling away. I'd better go in and tell someone, said Miles, as he jumped on board. Miles soon realised that it wasn't a house at all. It was a bus that took people to and from different places all around London. But now Miles was lost. He didn't know where he was. The bus made its stop at Trafalgar Square, just by Nelson's Column. Miles noticed 4 huge lions. Wow! Those big wise cats are bound to know where I am. I wonder if they'll give me directions, Miles thought. So he hopped off the bus to ask one. Hello there, mister. I'm Miles. I just wondered if you could tell me where I am, he asked. The lion didn't respond, but someone else did. You won't get much out of him. He's stone deaf. Miles couldn't see where the chirpy little voice was coming from. Up here, mate. Miles turned to see a pigeon perched on top of a parked taxi. God blimey, you look lost, son. Don't worry, your old mate Cabby will show you around. I know these streets like the back of my wing. Their first stop was St James's Park. This place is huge. Who does this garden belong to? asked Miles. Well, you could say it's the Queen's, but she lets everyone visit. Follow me, I'll show you her house, replied Cabby. Miles and Cabby walked up to the front of Buckingham Palace, the home of Queen Elizabeth II. That house is bigger than my whole street, said Miles. I wonder if my mate Vic's at home. He can show us around inside, said Cabby. Vic was fast asleep on top of a guard's hat. He let Miles and Cabby sneak in and meet the Queen. What an honour! The Queen was very nice and made a big fuss of Miles. Thanks for letting us in, Vic. Or is it Victor? asked Miles. Just Vic. It stands for Very Important Cat, said Vic. Miles and Cabby made their way along Tower Bridge, which crosses over the River Thames. All this water is making me thirsty, gasped Miles. I know where we can get a drink, replied Cabby. Let's go in and see Scraps. He'll give us a drink, said Cabby as he showed Miles to a pub. Scraps, the pub's guard cat, liked Miles and gave him a saucer of milk. There are over 7,000 pubs in London where friends and families visit to eat, drink and even play games. Some of these pubs are over 500 years old. That's not the oldest thing in London though. Wait till I show you something really old, said Cabby. Hey, Miles, this fella's over 150 million years old, said Cabby. Cabby took Miles to the Natural History Museum, home to many dinosaurs and wonderful collections. Gee whiskers, said Miles. Nice catchphrase, laughed Cabby. There are so many brilliant places to visit in London. Here are some of Miles's favourites. The British Museum, the National Gallery, the Science Museum, London Zoo, the London Aquarium. Miles couldn't believe how much there was to see and do. Next stop, Leicester Square in London's busy West End. There are quite often film premieres in London where filmmakers and the actors will turn up to the first showing of their new film. Lots of people arrive to meet them and take photos. That's Purdy Fleur, the greatest cat actress in the world. She's waving at you, Miles. Wow, said Cabby. What a long day. I'm feeling tired. I can't work out the time, though. What a strange clock, yawned Miles. That's no clock. That's the London Eye. People go round on it to get to see a fantastic view of London. But I know where we can find the time, said Cabby. Cabby took Miles over to Big Ben, the clock tower that's part of the Houses of Parliament. A place where a lot of important people who run the country go to work. It's 5:30. It'll be my dinner time soon, said Miles. Don't worry, Miles, I'll get you home. Follow me, said Cabby. Can you help Cabby take Miles home safely? Thanks for such a wonderful day, Cabby. I've seen and learnt so much. I had lots of fun too, said Miles. Me too. Right, I'd best be off. My wife's going to be cross if I'm not home in time for dinner. I'll see you around soon, my little mate. See you, Miles, said Cabby as he flew off back home. Miles was just in time for his own dinner, and he was so hungry he finished off every last bite. All that was left to do now was to do what cats love best and have a nice cat nap by the fire. I wonder where I'll visit next, thought Miles, as he happily drifted off to sleep. The end.